Mars is red, cold, has no breathable oxygen, and can give you cancer, and astronauts should be sent there. Why exactly, you might wonder. The good people at NASA think Mars is, simply put, super cool. They believe that Mars could have harbored life and that it would be a great place to start colonizing space. But there's a lot of controversy over whether NASA should spend the resources needed to send a team of astronauts to our dusty and hostile red neighbor. There are arguments that say it's not worth the time, money, and risk. While these people have reasonable concerns, they do not outweigh the scientific and global benefits that could come from a manned Mars mission. So, the question that is in question is, should NASA conduct a manned mission to Mars? Many of the greatest achievements in technology today have been a direct result of engineers and scientists improving equipment to assist our endeavors in space. The limits and cost of launching payloads into space have pushed designers to create lighter, faster, and smaller computers. These achievements can be seen in today's smartphones and laptops. Space has also led to the development of more efficient solar panels, such as the ones used on the International Space Station solar array, which is always a good thing to have no matter where you are in the universe. There are many spin-off technologies that NASA has contributed to the development of, but to save time, here's a quick list of NASA spin-off technologies you might have heard of and use today. Some are cordless power tools, artificial limbs, artificial hearts, water purifiers, invisible braces, GPS tracking, 360-degree cameras, memory foam, air thermometers, and smoke detectors. In short, if all these amazing products were a result of 58 years of sending astronauts to our moon and having them float around Earth's orbit, imagine what could be accomplished in the 20 years of a Mars program. During the lifespan of the Apollo program, America saw an increase in STEM PhDs earned by college grads. Notice how the graph starts to decline? That began after 1972, when the Apollo program ended. Coincidence? I think not. The dream and reality of sending astronauts to the moon gave a population of children an incentive to become astronauts, which led them to pursuing careers of science and engineering. If this increase has happened before, it is certain it could happen again. A Mars mission is just what America needs to get the ball rolling and usher in a new era of educational prosperity. The construction of the International Space Station has created closer ties between the nations that have participated in its mission and has led to more cooperation on earthly issues, such as the United Nations Climate Change Summit, which tackles the very issue in its name. Mars would create a whole new scope of opportunities to build trust between nations and encourage diplomacy, such as international Mars colonies. These opportunities could lead to more cooperation on issues on Earth, just as the International Space Station has. Traveling to Mars isn't just an expensive road trip, it's a journey for survival. This is because the vacuum of space has never been very welcoming to the human race. Spaceflight is a very dangerous and tedious business. Dangers include system failures, computer errors, loss of bone and muscle mass due to lack of gravity, pebble-sized meteoroids traveling at speeds up to 17,500 miles per hour that can severely damage craft, cosmic radiation from the sun that raises the risk of cancer, as well as the psychological effects of being in a cramped space for a long period of time. How long will the trip last? The closest distance between Earth and Mars is approximately 50 million miles. At that distance, the state of current conventional chemical rockets will make the trip to Mars a 7-month journey. In case you need some perspective, this tiny dot is Earth, and this tinier dot is our moon. And Mars is right over here. The return trip would take even longer because the crew would have to wait for the planets to align in just the right spot in order to take the shortest route home, which is at most a 2-year wait. This isn't ideal because Mars lacks the oxygen needed to breathe and a magnetic field to hide from radiation, aka cancer rays, like Earth does. Mars also has an average surface temperature of negative 81 degrees Fahrenheit and active winds that can form into dust storms. This is obviously not the most ideal environment for a human being. It is estimated that the budget needed for a 20-year program with the intention of putting an astronaut on Mars would be between $80 to $100 billion. For comparison, the cost of the Apollo program was $110 billion in today's money. Back then, the NASA budget was an average of $24.6 billion a year during the program's duration. The total budget for NASA today is only $19.3 billion a year, which is just enough funding to maintain equipment and explore the Kuiper Belt, but not enough to send US astronauts to the ISS without Russia's help. A large-scale Mars mission could also halt the development of other projects and can direct focus away from ISS experiments and Hubble telescope repair. So, should a Mars mission with the hefty price tag that encompasses high levels of risk even be considered? The answer is an undeniable yes. These risks and costs are no different from what history's greatest explorers had to overcome. Columbus, Magellan, Vespucci, all of them had very good reasons not to sail across the Atlantic and explore beyond. Weather, starvation, scurvy, disease, pirates, there were many dangers that could have gotten them killed, but despite the risks, they went anyway, and they changed the world by doing so. Refusing to explore because of uncertainty isn't only ignoring our past and slowing the progression of human civilization, it is defying our very nature as human beings. It has been the urges to survive that have driven the human race to explore the unknown. It is only natural, then, to reach outside our planet to better our understanding of the universe and what our place is in it, like our ancestors have. This makes Mars more than simply a destination. It is undoubtedly our destiny to go to Mars.